The following program is a podcast1.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're gonna take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I'm coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. On Thursday's Unleashed show, I continue my conversation with the Broken Skull Challenge returning champion, elite obstacle course racer, Spartan Race badass, Hunter McIntyre. Get a chance to catch up. Part two of my conversation with him. We go a little bit into the, it's on the Unleashed podcast, so we start cussing up a little bit in this one, and some great stories delivered by Hunter in this episode of the Steve Austin Show, and goddamn, what a life this young man has lived. But before we get to Hunter, the remodel continues over here at 316 Gimmick Street. Son of a bitch, we just got our countertops down, and they just put the island in. It's made out of quartzite or some kind of shit like that. Kristen, how are you?
It's so funny when you ask me how I'm doing.
Well, we just got finished eating lunch together, but I don't know how you're doing right now.
I'm doing great, Steve.
Okay, so what the fuck? Is quartzite a granite or is it marble? What is it?
It's a stone.
It's a stone. It's a big flat stone. Big enough to make an island in the middle of your kitchen on.
Well, it's flat now. They had to carve it out of a
big
mountain somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, Jesus Christ, that part of the remodel is done. But
that's the last part we want to remodel, too.
I know.
It's the first part done.
A lot of work still done. Our ETA getting back in the house I think it's probably been pushed back till about middle of April.
I'm thinking December 2019.
I'm thinking, as soon as I got a couple interviews going, I got a guy coming by the house tomorrow, a world-class powerlifter coming in, and then I'm going to be talking to Zoltan Bathory of Five Finger Death Punch, and when I get those interviews done, I might get my goddamn Ford Bronco, and I might drive down to the ranch and leave you and the dogs here to oversee the remodel while I go down there and just hang out and just cruise around in my Bronco on the mean streets of the Broken Skull Ranch.
There you go.
Unless you want to come with me.
I'd love to come with you, Steve.
No, you ain't going to go with me. You want to stay here and do your Zumba.
Yeah.
So I'm making a solo trip then.
No, we can all go together.
Well, are you ready to go?
No.
I tell people this all the time. I say, hey, I don't really make plans. I just, all of a sudden, I'll wake up one time and I'll tell my wife, you know what, I think about going to the ranch. And you say, when you going? I'll say, maybe Wednesday. How long are you going to be gone? And I'll say, I don't know, 7 or 10 days. And that's what happens. So I'm giving you a heads up right now. In a couple of days, I'm going to drive down to the ranch.
A couple of days? It's not even March.
I know it's not March, but I mean, I'm tired and, I'm kind of cooped up here in this run of house, banging and beating the shit out of 316, putting in all the new shit, and I just got to get out of here.
Well, the shed hunting's not going to really start that soon.
She's talking about shed hunting. The antlers fall off the deer's heads, and man, it was like Easter last time we went. Most time we get down there, Ted will be down there. My brother went down there last time and found everything in front of us, but we hit it right in the sweet spot. We found everything.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of goddamn big-ass bucks that I want to find the sheds to.
Well, yeah, we found 2 sets last year, which is very rare.
Matching sets.
Yeah, matching sets.
And they were sitting there right beside each other.
Right beside, yeah.
And let me see, it's been real green. There's been a lot of rain. The grass will be tall. You got to have snake boots. Got to look out for snakes.
Oh, wait, you're telling me about snake boots?
Oh, yeah, because I always wear flip-flops out there. It drives my wife crazy. She brought me a new set of snake boots for my birthday. Thank you, honey. I ain't even broke them in yet. I ain't worn them one time.
Well, you get to wear them now.
Yeah, so your decision. You can come down to the ranch with me, or you can stay here. I'll probably be gone about a week. But let's talk about the here and now. Shit, we had a couple of exciting days happen. What do you got on the list? Oh, yeah, let's talk about the new rug. So we're renting this house over here. We're renting a house right next door to 316 Gimmick Street. And it's a 3-bedroom house with 1 bathroom. And I've used one of the bedrooms to do my podcast in. And when I do a podcast in there, I've got one of the chairs, which was part of our furniture set in the living room at 316. It's a big-ass chair. And I'm sitting in the chair. and I got my laptop computer on a little square ottoman Kristen bought on Amazon for $19.99.
For myself, and I've never used it.
I use it all the time when we're watching season 3 of Breaking Bad, and I got my Blue Yeti or my Yeti, whatever called microphone, sitting on a 2-foot step ladder. You talk about a shitty system. So, at least I was in there the other day. I was talking with Hunter McIntyre, and I turned the table. This is my normal podcasting table from next door. And
it's now our dining room table.
It's now our dining room table at this house. And I turned it on its side, and I barely fit the legs through there, and I dragged a couple of chairs in there so that when Hunter came over, I had somewhat of a setup. But it's a little bouncy in there.
Well, and it's a very small room.
Yeah, it is a small room. And it's bouncy because of the hardwood floors, the walls. The ceiling.
And we don't have anything on the walls.
Nothing in there. So I said, okay, we got to go to Home Depot and buy a goddamn rug so that rug will kill some of the bounce in there.
I was wondering why you and Hunter were wearing blankets the other day when I came in.
I had blankets scattered everywhere. I put my camouflage jacket in there. I put the pillows on the ground. That's what I was trying. This is an award-winning show. It ain't never won shit, but I'm trying. So I was trying to, have a little quality. So anyway, back to the task at hand, which was I told you, let's go to Home Depot and buy a rug.
An area rug, yeah.
And so I was in there with my tape measure, and I wanted a rug. It was about 7 feet by 9 feet. So we go to Home Depot.
All they have are 8 by 10, 5 by 7.
8 by 10 and 5 by 7. A 5 by 7 just ain't quite big enough, and an 8 by 10 is just a little much. What I wanted was a 7 by 8 or a 7 by 9. So we're inside Home Depot, and I had already bought some indoor-outdoor carpet to go outside the door here. What's that?
Artificial grass.
Yeah, indoor-outdoor carpet.
That's like that artificial turf-looking stuff that you...
That's indoor-outdoor carpet.
It is?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Well, we got to put that in the backyard because it's so muddy back there because there's so much trees around here that the sun didn't get down there. And as much as it's been raining in California, the dogs track in so much mud.
That's the kind of turf that you play miniature golf on. It's in our backyard.
I jerry-rigged it. I cut it with my pocket knife to fit out there, and that's what the dogs wipe their feet on now. So I'm already walking around with my basket with that sumbitch in there, and we go over to the rugs.
Wait, let's take a step back. You need to wipe your feet on that thing.
We'll get to that story in a minute. So back to the rugs. I don't know how much money we're spending on this remodel next door because my wife is writing the checks and I haven't asked her. But when they tore out, it's a 2.5 bathroom house, and they tore out everything in the bathrooms, and they tore out half the kitchen and all the closets, and we're putting in hardwood floors, and they're skim coating the walls. I mean, it adds up. So we're spending some money on this remodel. My point is, back to the story, I'm trying to get an area rug to control the sound quality on my podcast, and I'm over looking at a rug that cost about $169 to $199, and my wife is resolute in saying, that's too much money. That's too high. God damn, Kristen, this is number one podcast in the world, and you talking about prohibiting me from spending $199 on a fucking area rug?
Yeah, it's wasteful.
Work with me here.
Well, you did a good thing.
Okay, so there I was. I said, all right, my wife is right. Let me try to find a more cost-effective
Well, besides
rug.
the fact that all the area rugs were really hideous.
They were. They don't make an area rug that's kind of good looking or it'll pass. They're either god-awful ugly and $1.99 or really pretty and close to $1,000.
Yeah.
Now, I ain't spending no $1,000 on a rug. That ain't gonna happen. $200? Yeah, but they look like shit. So anyway, I couldn't find the right size rug. My wife didn't want me to spend that much money, and I go over there and I see this little gray carpet. It's not the size I want, but it's like $28.
No, it was 18.
It was $18.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was $18, and I told my wife, I called her on the phone. I said, I'm over here on the carpet. I'll come back. You got to see what I found. And I found this little bitty piece of shit gray rug. It's about, Jesus Christ, it's not even 1/8 inch thick. And I put it on, I brought it. My wife says, oh, yeah, I'm a big hero since it's $18.
Well, and I was going to get a one of those things you put underneath.
Undermat.
Yeah.
It sticks it to the hardwood floor.
Yeah, but those were $32. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $32 on something to put underneath an $18 carpet. So
I put that little son of a bitch on the damn floor, and all of a sudden Moolah comes hauling ass in there and damn near did a damn wipeout because the somebody just slips all over the floor. And then I forgot about the damn rug. I come hauling ass in there for some reason. I was only walking quickly, and I almost busted my ass on that cocksucker.
And I did the same thing.
You did too?
Yeah.
I told Chris, I said, I'm throwing that motherfucker away. And she says, I can return it. I got the receipt. No, I don't think you got the receipt.
Yes, I saved the receipt. I saw you crumpled it up, and you put it in the bag, and I picked it up. No, you put it in the cart.
Yeah.
And before we got rid of the cart, I said, is this the receipt? And you said, yes. I said, I'll take that.
And see, my mindset right then was, hey, I got the indoor-outdoor carpet, artificial turf, whatever the fuck you want to call it, for the back parts so the dogs can wipe their feet off when it's muddy. And I got my carpet, so we ain't going to be returning nothing. So, that's a guy's thing. You always throw your receipts away because you don't give a fuck. And I ain't going to return nothing anyway.
I return everything.
My wife will return something that costs 20 cents.
I will.
That's what she does. That's the truth. We use coupons, and we will return, or she will return. So anyway, so you can return that sumbitch, and we just made a pact that as soon as I get finished recording the open of this show and the commercials and the close, we're going to Home Goods to get a goddamn rug.
Because they have nice ones there, and they're pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, but we got to do something.
Yeah.
Because, I got to have a little sound control in there, and it's too bouncy, and there's no atmosphere in there. And the other problem is I need a damn table, because turning this thing on its edge, it's only a 40 by 40 table. But when you turn it on its edge and move it through there, you scrape the paint off the damn sides of the wall. The table barely gets through there, and it's a clusterfuck. It's not professional.
Well, and you have to keep transporting a dining room table from room to room.
I know. Ridiculous. I'm trying to get a little atmosphere in there so I can stoke up some creative juices as well. It just really sucks ass. So I need some help here, Kristen.
We're on it.
Well, I told
after I return the rug.
Okay, we're going on good. Hey, but I told you guys that we were watching Breaking Bad again. We decided it's our favorite TV show of all time, or one of them, so we wanted to rewatch it again. And man, we're noticing things this time around that we didn't notice the first time.
And that we forgot about.
And that we completely forgot about. And so the other night we were watching Breaking Bad, and I had to push the pause button.
At 9 o'clock at night.
9 o'clock at night. We're winding down. We're about to go to sleep. And I hit the pause button because the dogs needed to go to the bathroom. And since the dogs were going to go to the bathroom, I figured I'd go out there with the scoop and the rake and pick up the dog shit. So since it was dark, I had on my cap, my baseball cap with a lantern on it with a flashlight. And I was out there picking up the dog shit, and I'm thinking, boy, my wife is really going to be proud of me now, because that's what I get told all the time. Every single day, did you pick up the dog poop? Did you pick up the dog poops? Or how much poop was there? My wife is obsessed with the dog shit. She calls it poop. I call it shit.
I call it poo.
Poo. Okay, whatever. I went out to go scoop up all that dog shit, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm really doing good here. We've got about 15 minutes left on this episode. I'll go in a hero. We'll kick back. I'll put my feet on the ottoman, and we'll finish watching Breaking Bad. All of a sudden, I do everything that I just told you I was going to do. I come in, I've got flip-flops on. I wipe my flip-flops on the carpet with a lot of force just to make sure that there's no mud or grass or anything, because it's been so rainy out here. Hell, I walk in proud as a peacock, sit on the couch, prop my feet up on the ottoman, $19.99 from Amazon, this little cubicle that my wife put together, which I didn't think was going to be worth a fuck, but I used the hell out of it. So all of a sudden, we're sitting there. I hit the play button on the Gimmick for Netflix, and then all of a sudden, my wife goes, I smell dog shit. You didn't say poop on us when you didn't say poo. You go, I smell dog shit. And I was like, I don't, because I'd wiped my feet. I knew that it wasn't me. And I'm thinking, God damn, what the fuck? And she goes, Steve, it's all over the bottom of your flip-flop.
It was disgusting.
I mean, it wasn't just a little bit of shit, and it was Hershey's shit, because I can tell the difference of who shits, Moolah or Hershey, and it's Hershey's shit. And Hershey, when she takes a dump, she'll hunch up like a dog does, and sometimes she'll walk about 40 yards like that as she continues to drop nuggets out of her ass. And so while I'm thinking I'm on a particular pile of them, I'm thinking I'm avoiding the rest of the little landmines she set for me. I can see these big clumps where Moolah went, and I'm scooping those up. All the while, I probably stepped in about 3 piles of Hershey shits.
Because it covered almost 90% of the bottom of your shoe.
God damn it. I put the scoop and the rake over there by the storage unit. I come back in the house, wipe my feet off, sit down just like I just told you. All of a sudden, my wife smells that dog shit, and I'm like, God damn. I look at the bottom of that flip-flop, and of course, when I put my feet up on that ottoman, I put dog. I mean, this is one of those things like sometimes when you see a baby and they wipe shit everywhere. You couldn't have tried to come in with dog shit on the bottom of your feet and spread it more than I did after I tried to be so cautious and to get that hero badge. So I hit the damn pause button again, take my flip-flops, put them on the back step, and just get a paper towel and start wiping up stuff everywhere. My wife gets the damn mop. She's mopping the floor.
I got the bleach. I'm bleaching everything.
And then she says, get the vacuum cleaner. Like, get the vacuum cleaner. She goes, get the vacuum cleaner. And when she says, get the vacuum cleaner, like she told me to get the vacuum cleaner, I got the vacuum cleaner. After spreading dog shit all over the house, which we had just cleaned up that very day, I figured I ain't going to fuck with her. I'll get the vacuum cleaner. It's a good idea, honey.
But the funny part is trying to watch you operate the vacuum cleaner because you don't know all the buttons are.
Shit, we got this newfangled vacuum cleaner about 6 months ago. And, man, I've been working my whole life, but I ain't run a whole lot of vacuum cleaners. I just work them upright kind that you just push the little release button on. Yeah, it's a canister kind. So I didn't know how to work a fucking vacuum cleaner. So after spreading shit all over the house like a moron, now I can't operate the vacuum cleaner like an idiot. So my wife comes over here, shows me how to use the vacuum cleaner, and we proceed to spend 30 to 40 minutes cleaning up dog shit. Now, bear in mind, when you clean up dog shit like a guy style, like I would have done it, hell, I'd have been done in 5 minutes. But when my wife brings her scientific germ-free approach into it, it's a different ball game altogether. Because guys clean up shit a whole lot different than their wives, especially my wife. What's up with all the damn cleaning? You didn't think I had it done good enough?
No, it was still, I could still smell it everywhere. And it gets
you're
stuck.
like a damn bloodhound. That nose of yours, holy smokes. I mean, you can smell a goddamn anything. You should be a drug sniffing person.
Put me on a leash, take me to the airport.
Anyway, we cleaned up all the dog shit, and I was like, Jesus Christ, man, about to hit the play button on Breaking Bad, and it was right in the middle of a climax of a hell of an episode of season 3, and me and my wife looked at each other like, really?
Well, I said, I need another episode to decompress after cleaning up all the dog shit.
So we were traumatized. So anyway, I still got my flip-flops. Oh, and then a friend of ours came over and told us, she said, well, I just use an extra pair of shoes to go clean up my dog poop in the backyard. And I was thinking, God damn, what a novel idea. Why didn't I think of that? So when I go down to the Broken Skull Ranch in 7 to 10 days, I'm going to bring back my fucking black rubber boots that I hunt in every single day. Since I'm not down at the ranch, I'm right back here. I'm in California. It's raining cats and dogs every fucking day. Fucking Northern California, the Oroville Dam's about to bust. My dogs are tracking in mud and dog shit. Every time the dogs come in the house, we got a towel waiting for them, and we wipe their paws off. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm bringing back my black mud boots, and I'm going to put those motherfuckers on every time I go pick up dog shit.
Good.
And I'm never going to have this problem again.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. What else you got written down on that list as far as stories of bullshit that we've been through?
Oh, well, we got locked out of the house yesterday.
Oh, man. I told you guys, always have an extra key outside your crib, and many of you have done so. And right next door at 316 Gimmick Street, we still have a safety key hidden somewhere on the property. Well, that key over there hidden on that property ain't doing a goddamn thing to help us into 317 Gimmick Street. My wife and I just came home, opened the doors, and this door over here at 317 Gimmick Street closes automatically by itself, just the way it sits on the hinges. So we come home, we take a load of shit in the house, we go back out to the SUV to get some more stuff. Hershey the Wonder Dog comes out with us in the driveway. Moolah stays inside. All the car keys have been transported in here to this table that I'm sitting at right now with my wife. and the door shuts. And so I grab the door handle and go to get in the house, and guess what?
Well, no, that's not exactly how it went down.
Well, how the fuck did it go down? Because that's what I remember.
It must be a blur to you because we were bringing in all the groceries and all the stuff from Home Depot yesterday, and Hershey escaped through the front door to go to the front to go outside. So I didn't want her going in the street, so I ran out. I said, Steve, the dogs have gotten out. So you chase after me. I chased after Hershey. The door slams, and then we come back to open the door, and it's locked. So you and I and Hershey were locked outside. We didn't know Mula was in here, but luckily we spotted her. And so she couldn't possibly open the door. And yeah, and I had to get to a funeral. I was running late. I had to get into the house. I was going to bust the door down, but you came up with a plan.
Well, it's at the end of the day, I was close in respects to how it all happened. The bottom line is we're locked out of damn crib and we ain't got no extra key. I mean, this sumbitch, these windows in this house are old. I mean, I was thinking if I was a thief, how would I get in here? Well, there's so many windows, it'd be easy to break one of these sumbitches and get in and steal everything in here. Ain't an alarm system. Well, there is, but we don't use it. There ain't no camera system.
Yes, we have cameras. I brought the cameras over.
Well, yeah, but they ain't monitoring nothing. And so as far as getting in, we're fucked.
Yeah.
But I had remembered after I walked around the house a couple of times, like, God damn, we are fucked. My wife's going to be late to the funeral. And that's disrespectful to the person that had just passed away, with all due respect to the person that passed away. So all of a sudden you run in late, screech your tires. I'm here for the funeral. I'm here for the funeral. And so I'm thinking, I ain't got nothing to do. I just want to do some research for a couple of my guests.
And you can't politely walk in late to a funeral. There's no way to do it.
Yeah. Like, God damn, Kristen made it. So I remember I'd been washing my hands at the sink that day. I just got finished cooking breakfast. And this kitchen in this house is so small, it heated up a kitchen. So I said, man, let me open this fucking window right here. And there was the way in. The fact that I had left that window open. And all of a sudden, I had my 6-foot step ladder over here already on the side of the house because I've been working on the gutters over here because they're clogged up. And so my ladder was already back here. And I said, Kristen, I said, I can remove that screen off that window. One of us going to have to crawl through there to the kitchen sink and get in. And, of course, we looked over there after I popped that screen off, and there wasn't no way it was going to be me climbing through that window because I'd have tore out the faucet. We'd have had to enlarge the window. We'd have needed a crowbar and some KY jelly to get my ass through there. So my wife climbs up the stepladder, climbs through the window, and when she's climbing through the window, I'm snapping pictures of her behind her back, and she don't know what I'm doing until afterwards. So she goes in through the kitchen sink. Go ahead and tell her, have you go ahead and take us through your breaking and entering process.
Well, my back was hurting me, so I had to be super careful because I was having some nerve issues in my lower back, and I'm trying to cautiously and carefully get through that window, and in through the window, my feet go into the middle of the sink. So then I'm sitting at the windowsill with my feet in the sink, trying to figure out how am I going to get to the floor. And I just kind of did a tuck and roll almost and catapulted myself onto the floor. And I was just happy to be in the house. And Moola's looking at me like, what in the hell is going on?
Moola's like, why are you breaking into the house through the window sink? Let me ask you a question. Would you please stop doing those one-legged, bent over, whatever, deadlifts? Those are the root where you got a bad lower back to begin with. You got to stop aggravating that thing by doing that cockamamie exercise.
Yes, sir.
You insist on doing. I told you all you need to do is the compound movements. Incline bench, squat, do a regular deadlift. You don't need to do the one-legged kind where your leg comes over.
All right, I'll stop doing it.
Yeah, because it was misery trying to watch you go to sleep the other night.
I know, it was pretty bad.
And then watching you go through that window. I'm actually going to post the picture of my wife going through the window tomorrow when the podcast comes out. So you'll see how stealthily she got through the window to let us into our own house. Well, thank you for your act of bravery, Kristen.
Please put a key somewhere.
I am going to put a key somewhere. We got plenty of the damn things. We got a bunch of extra keys made.
Yeah, we
just ain't got an extra one out there in the yard.
Right.
So I'm going to do it. I'm on it.
All right.
I appreciate you helping me on the open.
You're welcome. I have to go next door. Randy needs my attention.
Oh, that means there's another fuck up at 316 Gimmick
Yes.
Street. Super. Let me know how it goes out.
I will. Probably another 3 weeks behind.
Yeah, I'll catch you down the road.
Bye.
Thanks for joining me, Kristen. I'll see you in 10 minutes when you get back. Let me unplug our microphone real quick. All right, like I said, I got Hunter McIntyre on the show today. Goddamn, what an open that was. The bullshit that we go through. I'm fixing to go get me a goddamn rug over at Home Good, wherever to get it. I don't give a shit where I get it, but I'm going to get a goddamn rug. I got to get a table for in there. This is just unprofessional and bullshit. But anyway, enough about all my bullshit. Let's take care of something important. Let's take care of your snacking habits and get you a solution that's better for your fitness and health plan. And that snacking solution is naturebox.com. NatureBox makes snacks that actually taste great and are better for you. They're made with high-quality ingredients that don't have any artificial flavors or sweeteners or colors. They're made with high-quality ingredients that don't have any artificial colors, flavors, or sweeteners. And they got something for everyone. They got snacks like vanilla bean wafers and Big Island pineapple. And NatureBox recently improved their service. Now you can order as much as you want, as often as you want, with no minimum purchase required, and you can cancel anytime. So go to naturebox.com/Austin and check out their snack catalog. There's over 100 snacks to choose from, and they're always adding new snacks too. Just choose the ones you like, and they'll deliver them right to your door. And if you ever try a snack that you don't like, NatureBox will replace it for free. And right now, you'll save even more. NatureBox is offering 50% off your first order when you go to naturebox.com/Austin. That's naturebox.com/Austin for 50% off your first order. naturebox.com/Austin.
Everybody knows that February is the shortest month of the year. But at Podcast One, we aren't taking any breaks. We've got a boatload of new shows coming your way this month. Like 2 from Forbes, Under 30, and The List, or Postmortem with Mick Garris. And Clipcast, the official, unofficial podcast of the LA Clippers. But we're not done. Still to come this month, The Raven Effect from pro wrestler Raven. A little bit of Growing the Dynasty with Jeff and Jessica Robertson. Plus, in upcoming weeks, shows from Kim Zolciak, Dina Tori Spelling, The Retronauts, and many more. To get more details, go to podcastone.com now. Podcastone.com. Steve Austin, Unleashed.
All right, let's get rolling with Hunter McIntyre. What about your running coach? You still work with him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can see, I'll post some stuff online. He puts me in a machine where it's like an anti-gravity machine. It keeps you suspended so you can't fall, you can't make any mistakes, but you can push yourself to the utmost limit possible that your body physically allows you. So I'm running 24 miles an hour sometimes when I'm on this treadmill. I could never do that on the streets.
I was watching that guy. You're in like a suspension harness if you tripped.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Richard Diaz.
Rich Diaz, dude, mastermind. I tell you, the greatest story I tell anybody about this guy is he took a kid with autism who could barely walk a straight line, and within a year, he made the kid run a 4:30 mile.
Jesus.
So, I mean, he's a genius. And I respect that, and I'm a big believer in putting your money towards things that will make you your personal best, because that to me is my business. But in anything, if it's like your education, do the same exact thing. Dedicate yourself. Find the best.
How many times? I mean, because I got on YouTube and I watch you. You're in the harness and you get this like a bungee cord. It's
Yeah.
an elastic, something wasn't it, like a chain, but you're pulling him. He's on a bicycle, and man, all of a sudden you guys are going up a hill. And he's, he's motivating you. He's telling you where you're at, what you got to do, push.
Oh man, he cracks the whip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, man, when I started breaking down, we'll segue here in a little bit to Broken Skull Challenge. When I start breaking down, okay, well, I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together. How Hunter was able to do all the things he did out here.
Yeah.
You've been training like a beast for Jesus Christ. How long now?
Specifically for this sport, I would say since 2013. 20 hours a week minimum. And as I said before, anybody who's like looking to kind of get involved with, obstacle course racing, Broken Skull Challenge, that's what it takes, man. And I'm sure you were at the same point when you were in your career, man. You knew what it took to be in the gym every single day, to look the way you wanted to be and to perform the way you wanted to be. And anybody who wanted to take your crown, they're going to have to work past that, or they're going to have to be smarter at it. So to me, every single day is an opportunity for me. So I find the best coach, I find the best training partner, I find the best food, and then I take the smoothest, least path of resistance, basically.
Okay, so you got all these different plans, from the weightlifting to the running coach.
Yep.
So who's overseeing everything? Oh, yeah, I was going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, the head coach. Well, you got defense coordinator, offense coordinator, special teams, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, but he's the one overseeing it all. Who's the guy or are you the guy?
I am the guy at the moment. And sometimes I wonder if that's a good idea or not. In reality, I'm such a creature and who loves to just obtain knowledge and work with specialists in all different ways. Sometimes I'll work with a coach for 3 months, 6 months, and then I'll move on to the next guy. Not because I don't respect what he's doing, but I want to learn more and try new things. But I'm starting to think that I'm going to lean a little bit away from that this year and try to hand it off, get a little bit smarter about it. I'm quite excited. There's a strength training coach called Charles Poliquin. He's like the most decorated man in history when it comes to training Olympians in all sports. I'm working with him as a consultant. Hopefully we're getting together in March. So like something like that where I hand him the blueprint and he just fills it out and he gives it back to me, and I'm just going to follow his plan 100% and stick to it for a year and see what happens.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about his stuff. Well, I have for years, nutrition-based stuff.
Yeah,
like
he's
time
genius.
Retention, for hypertrophy.
Yeah, tempo stuff, yeah. Genius.
So how'd you hook up with Rippetoe?
Rippetoe was something that was unique in its own way. It was just like, I started to read through all these books, and he and I have actually never spoken, but I just started to find people who really impressed me had somehow been influenced by him. So I just started to become a student of his nature. And, there's a guy now here at Deuce Gym. His name's Jordan Feigenbaum. Every once in a while when I see him, I just ask questions, whatever I can get out of him. And he worked under him as like his right-hand man for many years. So hopefully one of these days I'll work with Mark.
So just before, I want to ask you some stuff about Spartan races.
Yeah.
But before we do, just as far as like the big three would go from a powerlifting standpoint, I know you like to deadlift, you like to squat.
Yeah.
You do any bench?
I do bench. We have bro day, which is Wednesday. Wednesday, I forgot to add that in there. Along with cardio, we got to hit the bench and the barbell row and a little bit of these guys.
So I know you're lifting raw.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So what's your best squat, bench, and dead?
Best squat today to history was 365. That's nothing crazy, but still, I was like, a cardio machine. Dead is 480.
That's great.
Yeah, it's good for me. And bench 275 for 2. But, those things I would like to increase, but at the same time, knowing the nature of my sport, every time that goes up, something else has to give. So I'm not going to be that guy just yet.
Dude, I'd like to see the guys you're competing with try those 3 lefts. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, no. But that's the thing. The passion for the iron game, for me, sometimes can be a little bit of a distractor. So I'm looking forward to finding out from someone like Charles. Like I was listening to an interview of his just recently. They can get some of their Olympic athletes down to 1 workout a week. And, that might be heartbreaking for me, but maybe that's all I need.
Dude, what would you do with all the spare time? Do you have any hobbies?
No, you know what? As I said, I'm a big reader. Other than that, hobbies would probably be watching action movies. Swear to God, I'd probably watch one a day. Not that I'm just a TV junkie, but that intensity of like Jean-Claude Van Damme and all those guys energizes me. So when I go out to train, I'm like, ah. So, I don't really have many hobbies. My friends actually told me I need to find one recently, so that was kind of depressing.
What kind of music you listen to at all?
You know what? When I ride my bike, it can be kind of like the old orchestra type stuff, or Johnny Cash. And when I'm writing or reading, it's usually some kind of electronic music, like a trance song, because it's very easy to hone my head in. And other than that, I don't really listen to anything.
Man, when I do read, I can't listen to anything.
Really?
Because I'll find myself either listening to the song and all of a sudden I'm reading, but I don't pick up any information off the page.
Yeah, I had to learn how to basically find things that were like as simple as possible, that were a little bit of distracting, but also white noise so I didn't hear anything else. If I heard a bird chirp, that's way worse for me than all of a sudden like a little bit of a melodic beat type thing. Yeah.
Spartan Race.
Yeah.
How many of those things you've been in now?
Upwards of 50, man. You're doing about 10 to 20 a year sometimes.
Each one's different, right?
100%, yeah. I mean, they have the bare bones where they're like, you're going to be running, you're going to be doing some climbing, you're going to be doing some carrying, and you're going to have to do some like grit stuff, which is the barbed wire crawl, the cold water, the gnarly shit. But yeah, each one's a new experience.
Do you know the distance going into it?
There's parameters. A sprint is 3 to 5 miles. Super distance is the 8 to 10 miles. The beast, or the long distance championships, are 13 to 16 miles, and we have 24-hour ones as well. But I only do that like maybe once a year, once every 2 years.
So how many of those can you compete in a year?
As I've grown older and wiser, I've realized that you can only burn yourself out on so many. The more you spread yourself out, the less you can give at each one of those things. So I'm recognizing about 8 is the sweet spot, maybe 10 if I'm crazy.
So what's the deal with the obstacle course racers? Like the guys that came out, shoot, I guess it was the second to last episode.
Yeah.
Isaiah
Vidal.
Benny
Gifford.
Yeah, those guys. Are those? Is that all Spartan, or is there a separate OCR?
There's so many I mean, OCR is like an umbrella term. There are so many events going worldwide. I think it is the biggest participation sport, endurance sport worldwide right now. It's out of control. Like, 6-7 million people in the United States last year did one. Worldwide, you're looking at probably, almost double that. And,
But it's bigger over in other countries, right?
It's huge, man. The UK and all across Europe.
But it's gaining ground over here, but it's way bigger overseas.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely they have better structure. They got better TV. Participant numbers, I don't know if it's the same because we kind of like throw out so many events every single weekend. It's almost out of control. In LA, you're probably gonna find 5 in one weekend sometimes.
Is Spartan the Mac Daddy then?
Yeah, Spartan's probably the most developed and most competitive one. There's other ones that are building their way up. Like in the UK, there's Tough Mudder, which is has been something that's been notorious for more of like a camaraderie building thing, has just this year made themselves a competitive sport. So we'll see where that goes. In reality, though, like if you want to find the most talented, most drop dead focused, badass athletes, you go to a Spartan Championship.
What about the death race? You ever did one of those?
I stayed away from it because it's the kind of thing where you could show up and they'll say, hey, we want you to smash pots and pans on your head for an hour. And then the next hour, we want you to take your shoes off. We want you to walk across glass. And I was like, this doesn't really scratch my back the way some people do.
Right.
Yeah, so in reality, that's not necessarily a contest. It's more of a character builder. And to some people, I've done these Kokoro camps, these Navy SEAL camps.
I want to get you about that because I talked to Mark Devine.
Yeah. That to me was a little bit more understandable, but it's these things are very, very tough on your body.
Well, you know what you're signing up for going to the way you do and you don't.
Yeah.
But you're under kind of like a SEAL type environment where it's going to be safe.
Yeah.
It's going to be extreme, but it's going to be safe.
The death race, I don't believe is designed to be dangerous. There are some outcomes that may end up putting people in positions, but the guy Joe DeSena, who founded this whole thing, he has the real reins on those death races, and he knows me well, and he would come after me like a shark after somebody in the water, you know what I mean? Like, he would come after me. So I'm petrified of him also.
Well, I remember talking to Alex, one of the competitors out there at one time, and he was in on one of the death races. I think they had him in the back of a pickup truck, blindfolded. And I think they put him in. There's a bunch of steers or cows or bulls or something like that. But I mean, to me, that's kind of the unknown that I don't want to fuck with.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah. As long as they don't get a race, okay, we might throw a spear. Go through some gravel, on some barbed wire. I could probably handle that if that's what I did.
Exactly.
But all of a sudden I take a blindfold off and I'm looking at a bunch of it ain't me.
Yeah, no. I can face something if I know what I'm facing. The unknown to me is a little bit of a creature I can't take.
There is unknown in the Spartan races.
For sure.
So here's a question I got you. Not to ask you all the different unknowns.
Yeah.
But like when I came up in the wrestling business back in the Stone Ages, we had no medical staff, no trainers, this, that, or whatever.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, man, you guys are on your course, whether it's a short one or a long one. Is there any, you're looking at premier athletes, but anything can happen. Is there any kind of medical personnel out there to help you guys?
No, it's very well orchestrated. There are, when we're really going after it, we have ATVs and those what's the thing that you drove up
Kawasaki
in? Yeah, that thing's badass. I love those. So there's those following us at all times.
Okay.
Now everybody between the first man to finish and the last man to finish, they have less eyes on, but at the same time it's very well done where no one's ever died, I believe, at a Spartan race. One time at a Tough Mudder someone drowned, but everyone's pretty much well looked after.
What is the worst thing that's ever happened to you on a Spartan race?
Rolled an ankle and tore a ligament. Just a crappy little annoying injury. I'm sure, when you step off a curb and you just go, oh, yeah, basically one of those things, but a little bit more severe. But other than that, man, I'm pretty good.
So what's the deal? You got to carry your water with you? And you always
no.
You're talking about some like peanut butter?
You got to be well designed out there. I try to stay away from the races where I'll be starving by the end of it type thing, but the worst I'll be facing is I'll stuff like a goo or two in my belt line, or I have a short that's specifically designed to hold them. And the most I'll take is like a bottle of water this big, but I stay lean. I stay ready. Don't need too much.
What's this goo?
Goo, you know what?
Sugar, carbohydrates.
It's basically probably the worst thing for a human to ingest unless you're doing something like a Spartan race, or I wouldn't suggest anybody eating them. But yeah, carbohydrates. When you're moving super fast, your body can burn only one thing to get that energy, and that's sugar. Your body only has a finite store, so you just start gulping this thing down. You get a little punch, you run. So yeah, you can't carry a Red Bull in my pocket.
Man, I got to talk about Broken Skull Challenge.
Hell yeah.
How'd you find out about the show? Did you flip channels?
No, honestly, I had seen it before. My buddy Alex had participated and told me about it. And I believe, I know for sure, my buddy Scott Keneally, who is a big influencer in the sport, and he has done documentaries on it, he was connected with somebody who is, somehow behind the scenes in your production, and said, hey, Hunter's a great guy for this thing, and somehow, pushed me forward. But for a while, for me, I thought to myself it would be, this is a little bit gimmicky. I'm going to get myself in a situation where it's like a bear trap. Like I don't know, I'm going to walk over and all of a sudden I'm going to fall through a hole in the ground. Like, oh, Hunter fell through the hole. Like I thought it was going to be too gimmicky and I didn't have a chance. But then once I signed up, man, my mind was set on it and I was dedicated just like I dedicate to everything else. And I came to win, man. And it's been a long road since. But as you said, I'm waiting for that person to come get me.
What did you think about the challenges? I mean, like, did you have any favorite or things that you didn't like? I mean, I know you were in trench warfare. You probably were in drag race.
Yeah, drag
race.
race.
I mean, there was a whole litany of the things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that stuff. I think simplicity is key. I think simplicity and hard work is key, and that's what you got going on the show. To me, I love doing one thing, max effort. And if that means I got to take somebody and drag their ass across the room, that's it. Don't make me jump over fences and, do this, that, and the other thing, bob and weave. I want to just get it done, and I want people to suffer and me to suffer while it happens. So I like something like the drag race or trench warfare is another thing, man. Like seeing two people in such a confined space go head-to-head is so intense. I mean, it's almost more intense than that of MMA, man, because you've only got one thing you can do, and that's to shove that bastard as hard as you can. You can't dance around and bob and weave on punches. So, I love that kind of stuff. And then, as another thing like pile up, I built something in my backyard, and I didn't know pile up was coming. I tied a fire hose around a 200-pound tire, and I drag it up this hill as hard as I could. So when I got a hold of that thing, it was second nature to me. So, I love it, man. I love it. It's raw.
What did you think when you first got a chance to look at the Skull Buster?
In reality, I think that's what obstacle course racing should be today. I think it should be short. If it's going to get into the Olympics, which we're talking about now, it needs to have these really intense and wild, tests of your athleticism. And, right there, you come down, you got that back-breaking thing. I love carrying heavy weight. When you built the dome, something like that right there, to me, that took every, it may not look like it on TV, but that takes every bit of focus for me to get through that thing and get through it fast. Like, I love that kind of stuff. And, Heartbreak Hill and those ropes right there, man, that right there is a good combination to really see who's got the guts. And it's awesome to see athletes who I remember you had a couple seasons back, this black guy who looked like probably the fittest thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and he couldn't get up the rope.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a pause for the cause and help out the sponsors to keep the show on the air for free. So big ups to TrueCar. If you're in the market for a car, then you need to check out TrueCar.com and the TrueCar app. TrueCar gives you the price and information you need to feel confident about your purchase. When you register with TrueCar, you'll see what other people in your local market pay for the car you want. From there, you can connect with a local TrueCar certified dealer and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. TrueCar shows you real pricing on actual inventory, so you see competitive pricing offered to you by TrueCar certified dealers for vehicles that are actually on their lots. TrueCar makes car buying easy, no matter if you're looking for a brand new or a used vehicle. There's over 500,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide, and there are over 13,000 TrueCar certified dealers. And over 2 million cars have been sold to TrueCar users by the TrueCar certified dealer network. TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar.com or download the TrueCar app to enjoy a better car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Hey, it's Jordan Harbinger. For the last 10 years, I've successfully helped people build their self-confidence with my Art of Charm podcast. And now, along with Art of Charm, I'm hosting a new show. It's Podcast One's latest program, The Forbes List. On the show, we talk to the Forbes editors that curate their famous and respected lists, like self-made richest people, billionaires, and highest-paid athletes. We'll get behind-the-scenes insight and information that doesn't make the print cut. It launches this week, on February 16th. So please subscribe on iTunes to the Forbes List, and don't forget to rate us, review, and share.
Steve Austin, Unleashed.
So I was sitting there listening to Hunter describe all the activities at the Broken Skull Ranch, and all of a sudden I looked down at my Zoom H4 recorder, and it said, card full. I said, son of a bitch, I can't believe it. Broke the 411 down to Hunter. Man, we were just talking about the Skull Buster and all kinds of good shit.
I know. We got in the thick of it.
God dang it.
I'll leave it to you, man, where you want to go with it.
Okay, let's go back to Skull Buster. You talked about some of the elements going into it, but the Beast Mode Skull Buster was a badass day. And this was many times I got a chance to hang around you. And we talked a little bit here and there, as much as we could. But, man, you know me, I'm very impartial out there. I show nobody no favoritism. But the longer you're there, you start to make friendship.
We built a friendship.
Yeah, so we had fun out there. And this time out, Beast Mode, the best of the best, 4 years of All-Stars. Yeah. And, of course, you're right there in the thick of things because you're my returning champion. Everything to lose. Yeah. And so you came back.
A lot of people following after me.
Dude, you came out there, and before we started, I mean, you were psyching yourself up. And I was just like, okay, is he psyching himself up or is he psyching them out? Because they didn't show this on television because you couldn't. But on the podcast, like Hunter was walking around, he's like, motherfucker, come on, fuck you. And he wasn't telling anybody to go fuck himself. He was just doing that, and he was just hyping himself up. And I'm like, man, this guy is really intense. But I thought it was twofold. I thought one, I think that's you. You're an animal. But I thought also you're very cerebral, and I thought that was towards the opposition.
Yeah.
Break it down for me.
I played it out. Honestly, I, as an athlete, need to put myself in that position. I got to recognize that it's go time, and that's a mental switch. And I've done a lot of research on that, reading up in the books, but also it's something that just made me really engage in the moment. So I had to psych myself up. But also, you hear about the story about Arnold Schwarzenegger when his competition's hanging out with him. He tries to play little mental games. And I always recognized that was a big thing. Like, when I'm running cross-country meets, when I was, going, I would just be like, yo, man, you look really tired. Some other guys, I'd be like, you look much fitter last race. Like, how you been type thing. So, to me, letting people know, when I go to a Spartan race, I'm jazzed up, I'm on fire, and people think I'm crazy. Well, they see that, and they're scared. They know what I got in me. Sometimes my bark's a little bit bigger than my bite, but I try to make everyone know that I got something going on. And, that's also the fun of it for me, man, and also the enthusiastics. I'm not somebody who's just going to sit there and, let life happen. I want to ride it like a wave. So, yeah.
What did you think about the way we pulled that last episode where it was you versus him, Skullbuster versus Skullbuster? Yeah. And, depending on who got rid of their opponent the fastest in the pit, they got to dictate, who was going to run the course first. Of course, man. Ian made short work of his opponent, and all of a sudden, Hunter, you're going to run first.
Yeah, well, you know what? I like how this show is growing and progressing. I mean, that's how it's just going to happen, man. Keep the entertainment up, keep everybody on their toes, also keep the athletes on their toes. So, I mean, to me right there, Ian took more chances to make sure that I could go first. I'm sure that was something he was thinking in the back of his head. And to me, I just recognized I was going up against an absolute beast. Christian, to this day, if you're listening, man, total badass. I respected you. I was terrified of you. And you know what? I just made sure that I survived it. But I'm looking forward to next season, man.
When you ran the Skullbuster that second time, we changed the course around, made it a little bit faster because we changed the Nutcracker. So it was more just, straightforward and not so much of a high incline because a lot of people had a hard time with that. You didn't, but it slowed a lot of people down. Yeah. And like I said, hey, man, this is a faster course. What did you think about the second course? Because, that in the world of Spartan racing, you're a short course guy. That's your specialty. You can do anything.
That's what I love, yeah.
So what did you think about having that faster course?
To me, I think you're going to be able to find a greater athlete, overall athlete, in that shorter distance. When you start to see people, I think the ultimate course is like, that 5 to 7 minute mark right there. And once you see someone in that area and you get a couple athletes around there, you're going to start to see some real studs show up. But also the way that you designed it is we had the same skeleton as usual. It starts with a log, ends with a rope type thing, have the hill. But, putting that big tire in there, man, when I saw that thing, I mean, people don't recognize it, but that tire is 10 times the width of me, and it weighs 1,800 pounds. Like, that was no joke. And I've never seen anything like that. In Conan the Barbarian, you see him pushing the pillar in the beginning, so I got an idea. But in reality, man, I charged that thing like a bull. I was just like, and I hit it. So, reality, I think what you guys are doing is awesome, and I think you're making an impression. American Ninja Warrior's got its thing, but what you guys are doing is like, we got the big bad course right here, and this is what tests.
Yeah, I don't want to sit here and blow smoke up my ass or try to sell the show. The show is what it is. Hopefully, it's around for season 5. But the thing about it is, and you touched upon it, because I'm a big fan of Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, of
course. I'm a big fan of anything that has an athletic endeavor to it or some type of challenge or competition. I'm all about man against man, woman against woman. So that's the thing. American Ninja Warrior, a lot of parkour athletes, badass athletes.
Freaks, man.
Casey Cataranzo came out to the Broken Skull Ranch, and she just barely got eliminated in the pit. We really wanted to see her on the Skullbuster because she's a machine. But the thing about Broken Skull Challenge is you got to make it through 3 rounds of competition, and the mental aspect of it is just as important as the physical part of it, because it's like all of a sudden, you're not competing against a course like Ninja Warrior. You're competing against another human being. Yeah. And this human being is, okay, what are they made of? Who are they? You knew some of these people during the season, but all of a sudden it's a war of mental toughness. Who wants this more, you or them? And that's what I like. And that's what I love about the show. And like you said, it is a very simple format.
Yeah. Well, honestly, man, as I said, I don't get that opportunity very often. I don't think many people do. And I think the viewers see that, that is a primal kind of feeling right there when you gotta move somebody so you can move to the next round. And, it's kind of like the Hunger Games format, like, fight to survive. So I love it.
Man, I liked the thing I liked about it. I tell people, my job out there is to just facilitate things, to make sure everybody's got a level playing field, let you know what's happening, and, set the tone of the show and let you guys, set the stage for fair competition for you guys to give everything you got. Prior to Broken Skull Challenge, I know you've been to Spartan Races and all this other stuff, hanging around stuff. And like I tell you, when you guys come out there, hey, it's going to be a long day. If you need a bathroom break, let me know. If you need some sunblock, let me know. But it's going to be a long-ass day the longer you're around.
Yeah.
How was the filming aspect of it? Because it is true competition through and through, but there's a lot of hurry up when you got to go, and there's a lot of waiting when someone else is going, or they're doing a stop down for the interviews, and it's a long-ass day.
That was the hardest part for me. And I don't know if you ever heard about this, but my nickname on scene was – on site was Box of Cats. I had my handler, and basically I was as hard to herd as a box of cats, just a bunch of little kittens running around the room, because I got so much energy. And also you guys have very strict rules on interacting with competition. It keeps, this element of surprise. And to me, I can't sit in the room next to somebody I know or I want to know and just sit there in dead silence for hours on end. So, that was gut-wrenching for me. But at the same time, it added to the intensity, and that's what you guys designed. So, you know what? I look forward to the next season, but at the same time, I still I don't want to sit in silence for all those hours. Yeah, that's the reality of it.
But it's a long-ass day.
It is, man. You have to do it for much longer than I do,
Well, it was fun last year on season 3 because we filmed 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And so basically, I live out there. I got a badass 45-foot camper with 4 slides. I got all my meals. I got my mule to ride around.
Oh, yeah.
I got my walking stick. I'll just take off and walk in dark or whatever. And get
you got the barbell and bench out?
Yeah. I got my power rack out there to get my workouts in. So I always tell everybody, for me, it's like a paid vacation. And all of a sudden, man, you're just cruising through this. And every other day we're bringing a new group of guys or girls out there. So it's like it's a paid vacation. But you're seeing the best athletes in the United States of America come out there, and everybody's doing something differently. And when you get a chance to switch them up and watch and see what the next group is going to do, it's a great job.
It's a form of summer camp, man.
Okay, summer camp. What's next for you? It ain't summer no more. We're talking right now, and it's February.
Yeah.
What's right down the road? How long will off season last before you get in the championship season?
I think everybody needs to be calculated about their off season. Mine will probably kind of trickle into the season start, and just to be smart about developing myself. But Spartan Race has its championship series. That's kind of has been my life for the past 3 years now. It's my 4th season. Tough Mudder, as I said, there's a couple other events coming up, and also there's some development on the backside of us potentially making it to Japan for the Olympics. So I'm doing a lot of things behind the scenes to make sure that I can have that opportunity, but also training so that when it comes go time, I'm 100%. So right now is that stage of developing what you want to do over the next couple of years, having a lot of foresight and making sure that you're smart about your training and smart about who you do it with and when you do it. So, it's the boring stuff.
So what's the first competition?
April 22nd is the first championship of Spartan Race. You got Seattle, so I'll be out there, and it's going to be about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of redlining.
Will that be guns blazing? You'll be going for first place?
Oh, yeah.
You're not saying you're going to creep into the season and hit on the rocket boosters. You'll come in full-blown trying to win everything.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I will be to the best of my ability at that time, but I think you'll see me really on fire once, the end of summer comes around. You're going to start to see some awesome things.
Do you think you've peaked yet mentally or physically or in combination?
No, man.
You see room for improvement?
I think every single year I've been developing. I really am a much better person and athlete than I was last year. Now, I can make mistakes and I can regress, but at the same time, if I'm as engaged as I feel I am right now, it's going to be awesome, man. All the way up through my 30s, 40s, you never know.
The one guy that I read about that was such a competitor that you were gunning for, Hobie Call?
Hobie Call, man. He was a world champion this year at 39 of the most decorated competition in the entirety of the sport. 15,000, 20,000 people there, first place.
So where were you?
I ended up coming
in that race?
I was in that race, man. I blew it. Took 6th place, but at the same time, I loved that position.
When you say you blew it, and how long was the race?
2.5 hours.
Okay, so in a race like that, define blowing it. What did you do wrong?
Tactical error. Total idiot. I've been to so many of these races before, and a couple days before the competition, we have a rules and regulations meeting for athletes and other participants amongst the sports to come sit down and see what's going on. Now, this technically ends up being for a lot of foreigners who are competing and haven't maybe done this before. And I've been to so many of these things. I was like, come on, dude, I'm not going to sit through another one of these meetings and have to bump into a bunch of people and do small talk BS. They changed one of the most fundamental rules in the sport the day before competition, and I had no clue. So we get to, in our sport, to show completion and control, at the end of everything, you have to hit a bell. So imagine going over the dome and hitting a bell at the end before you move to the next thing, or the cargo net or the nutcracker, blah, blah, blah. You cannot hit it with your feet anymore. Before, it was like, I could swing out, kick it, and keep on going, keep this awesome momentum. To show more control and make it safer for participants, they changed it because they saw risk. I didn't know that. I hit this bell. I'm in 3rd place, and I'm making my move. I knew exactly. I had strategized. I put this whole strategy together, and it just unraveled me, man. It was like, I was just a ball of yarn on the ground. I was like, oh, fuck. My whole world just ended. So I battled back. I fell back to 9th place, and I battled back down to 6th. But you know what? I lost my momentum, and I'll be totally honest. I don't know if I would have taken 1st place, but I would have done a lot better. So, yeah, there was a penalty. Took a lot of time arguing with a lot of officials, but, by that time I had to get back into the game. So, back to the drawing board.
Did Hobie go to the meeting?
Hobie did. A lot of people did, and you know what? This may be just my cocky, ignorant way of looking at things, but I thought I knew everything there was to know.
But I guess I was watching an interview, and it was from you maybe in 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And, we're talking about your competition with Hobie. Hey, man, this guy's one of the best in the world. I'm gunning for him, but sometimes I'll call him up, and he'll say, hey, man, bring a goo, bring some extra water. You guys might be out there for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So he'd give you a heads up. So you guys are friends.
Yeah, we're friends.
So he didn't just say, hey, you got to hit those bells with your hands, right? You
know what? I don't think anybody had malintent or anything like that, ill intent, trying to make sure that I didn't know about it. I think, everyone had just heard it and assumed that everybody knew. I was the only person who screwed up. Maybe only one other guy besides myself screwed up big time in the upper leagues, but it was a soul crusher to have that happen. But it was stupid.
I've seen you win at the Broken Skull Challenge.
Yeah.
And I know you've won a lot. Obviously, in your Spartan Race career, you're one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Okay. I know how important winning is for you.
Yeah.
How are you in suffering defeat?
I've been somebody who's crawled under a rock before at times, but at the same time, I'm a phoenix who rises from the ashes. I've always brought myself out of those positions, and I don't know, I can't say that forever. I don't know what's going to happen, but I told myself at the end of this season, because I had like almost the best season of my entire life, and then I had 3 really bad races, all championships, and I told myself, fuck it. I'm over this. This is such bull crap. I'm better than this. You know what, Hunter? Grow up. Go do something else. And then I had to go away and, go to New Zealand and kind of find myself again. And now I'm back. I know what I want to do. I have it written down on a list. I think about it every time I wake up, every time I go to bed. Having conversations with yourself, it's in the back of my head. So, if I could give people perspective, you're never going to be better than when you're at your very worst. When you can see you're at the very, 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 very bottom and you can see how far you actually have to go, that to me is where I can gain the most perspective. It's not sitting at the top, because you never really grow that far. The person who's a few rungs down has a lot of room to move. So to me, I love that growth. I love going through those stages. So, use those times when you're in shitty places and look where you can be or where you have been.
How close are you with the guys on the circuit? I know you guys have shared rooms and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can be very, very close, but as I said before, and other people that we know, it can be tough, man. Somebody who's sitting directly across the table from you is thinking in the back of their head, like, man, it's so much fun to hang out with Hunter, but I'm going to crush that idiot tomorrow. And I'm thinking at the same time, I'm like, Ryan's looking real stupid right now. He's looking like he's out of shape. I'm going to crush him. And it's hard to kind of, get the momentum of the conversation going, because that's all you're thinking about. So in off season right now, it's really fun to go skiing with the guys, invite them over to a house to go surfing for a couple of days. But I lived with one of my roommates, this kid Ryan Kent, who might be on the show next year. He really wants to go after it, and we didn't talk much. I mean, we lived together for 3 months, and sitting across the table seemed like the distance between me and China. So it was tough.
You mentioned in one of your earlier interviews, talking about your parents seeing you about as bad as you could get.
Yeah.
What are their thoughts since you've achieved so much success, not just so much from a competitive standpoint, but from a personal standpoint?
I think, in all honesty, my parents couldn't be any happier with what I've done with myself. My mom for a long time was like, go back to college, go get it done. And then I think she really grew to understand that this is what put the smile on my face. This is what got me up out of bed in the morning. And also having people like, my mom's a real estate agent. People are coming into the office and, oh my God, I saw your son on television. You're Mrs. McIntyre, like blah, blah, blah. And I think that really allows them to connect with their community and also connect with me. My parents loved coming to my races, but it was a tough time, But I think, in all honesty, everybody believed in me. And if it wasn't for my parents vetting me and also dumping money down the toilet, which it could have been, I came back. So I thank them every single day. I call my dad every day. I call my mom every day.
Do you?
Yeah, man. Even if it's 5 seconds on the phone, just saying hi.
What kind of student were you in high school?
Awful. I would retain the information, but I also didn't see the value in the information. I didn't, what are we all doing here? You can't tell me to sit in a room with 15 of my friends and be quiet and then write a book about, a paper about this lame book. So I hated it. But now, I think about going back to college. I would love to go back to college. If I knew it didn't pull away from what my main focus was right now, I'd be in school because I love the idea of it. But maybe a little bit later down the road.
But to me, when I talk to you, or from what I've seen you do at the Broken Skull Challenge and observing everything, you're a person, to me, with a high IQ. I don't know whether that translates to books or not.
Yeah.
But you're no dummy.
I hope not.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But you just didn't care about school.
No, man. I think everybody's got their purpose in life, and mine was a little bit more outside of the classroom. And, it was tough for me, and this is why I want to go back and help mentor people a little bit. When you are given this format and there's 2,000 kids in that school, you have to streamline those kids through this format, this formula, and anybody who's going against the grain, you're going to either have to wash them out or, stuff them full of pills type thing. I want to find ways to kind of help people out, I keep on harping on that, but that was me when I was younger. I couldn't fit into that one format and make it easy for me. But now, as I've come full circle, I see the purpose of it, but at the same time, I could go back and try to be in that same environment. It would be just as hard.
All right, big question for you.
Yeah.
We talked about something on the Broken Skull Challenge.
Oh, what's this going to be?
You mind if I bring this up?
No, go for it.
You asked me a question.
Yeah.
Talk to me about being a WWE superstar.
Dude, I was going to ask you, man. Like, I mean, you could see I got some opportunity. In reality, as I said to you before, and I will tell everybody, I give everything 110%. And if I know the door is open and I know that I've fully moved past with what I'm working on right now, and if I can put that behind me and I have another door open, man, I'm going to be a million miles an hour after it. And I mean that, from the absolute core of me. I want to go get it. And I love it, man. I look up to people like yourself. I got Macho Man Randy Savage tattooed on my ribs because, whatever wrestling means to certain people, I see that arena and I see those contenders, and whatever it may be, what's going on in the ring or what people see outside of the ring, I love it. And you know what? That may be the next progression. That might be Hunter 2.0. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, there's a window on that, though.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, man. I'm not going to call you up at 45 years old and be like, Steve, I'm ready.
Right.
No, I totally get that. But as I said, I think that's something right there where I wouldn't want you to vet me or anybody if you thought that they were only 75% in. So I'm waiting to come to you or whoever else it may be, the person who opens that door for me when I'm ready. And I thought a lot about it. I've talked to a lot of friends, and I asked all of them, I was like, what do you guys think? Would you guys back me up if I disappeared for a little while? And next thing you see me, I'm in tights and I'm freaking jacked and I'm throwing down. And, when I say that right now, you see me, I'm smiling because I really do believe in that, man. You guys are icons. You really set the tone for a lot of people. I look at you guys and I say to myself, I'm going to be that one day. So I mean it, man. Yeah.
And I had a good time doing it. And, you dropped out of college after 1 year. I dropped out after 5.
Yeah.
I got 17 hours to get a college degree. So it worked out okay. There's a happy ending to the story.
Yeah.
But I knew you were a fan of the business. There's always a story. Sometimes it's a good story, a bad story, but it's entertaining nonetheless about the story behind a tattoo. How did you get Macho Man Randy Savage tattooed on your rib?
Okay, so you know what? Almost every tattoo that I have on me comes to me it burns in the back of my head. And when I see myself moving forward and taking on a task, I kind of use that. Now, Macho Man on my ribs right here is a picture of him at the top rope, finger up in the air, and I just imagine in the back of my head, he's just thinking to himself, he's like, number one, anything below me, I will tear to shreds. And I thought to myself right there, I'm like, I got to keep that mentality. So I just took it and I just threw it up on the ribs, man. And you may think I'm kidding, but I remember not too long ago, I was in the gym and I was so down on myself. I was like, motherfucker, you've lost it, man. You're in shit shape, everything. And my shirt's off and I'm laying on my back and I look in the mirror and I just see it sticking up right there. And I'm like, dude, you are a contender. Get the fuck up. And I just started going, and that was the start of my season last year. I swear to God. And, it may be ridiculous, but those are some of the things that kind of really keep me tied down to the ground at times.
That's a great moment in seeing that tattoo and having it inspire you. But what was the story behind deciding to get it inked?
Oh, you know what?
Was that a drunken bender?
No, not at all.
I know you weren't sitting there in a calm, meditative state saying, you know what? After thinking about it for about 12 hours, I'm going to go get Randy Macho Man Savage tattooed on my rib.
I would always act and kind of dance around like Macho Man in front of my friends, and I'd get into his voice and kind of get all creepy like. And, he'd always been a part of me. But for some reason, when I saw that picture, you go online, you Google random things. I saw that picture. It was like, boom. It just went straight to me. And I think within 24 hours, we had the thing on me. Same thing with a sheriff badge tattoo. It was something I joked about for years. And then, immediately, it was if, I was just stepping into, the arena. I was like, man, it's go time. And I just threw that thing on my chest. And ever since then, man, the sheriff badge has been, it's been a real thing. It's part of me. Same with this one, it holds on true.
What did your buddies say when you got the Macho Man tattooed on you? They rib you? No pun intended.
No. You know what? I actually went with my best friend, Jesse, and he got an absolutely ridiculous, the dumbest tattoo I've ever seen. So he had no opportunity.
I've seen some dumb ones. What is it?
He's got an eagle tattooed under his armpit with lightning bolts coming out. I'm like, one, you have to shave your armpit for the rest of your life to see that ugly thing. And two, I'm like, oh man, like I even split the cost of it with him because he was dead broke at the time. I was like, I'll get you whatever tattoo you want, but you're gonna regret that.
Did y'all get these done in Connecticut or Cali?
No, this was in California, right over here. You know the barber shop / tattoo shop right in at Windward Circle.
Yeah,
that one's great. I can't remember the name of it right now, man, but that's my tattoo shop. Yeah, I've gotten 2 tattoos there, so yeah, go get one if you guys.
You gonna get any more ink?
I think it has to be it has to be that thing where the next stage of my life or at the right time, it's going to tell me when, So, maybe when I get ready to go for the ringside, dude, you'll be knowing.
Here's the thing. I don't know. Maybe you're like this. It sounds like you're we have a lot of things in common. You're a much better athlete. But like for me, like I might wake up like in 5 days and I'll tell Kristen, you just met her.
Yeah.
I'll tell Kristen, I say, you know what? I think I'm going to go to the ranch. Oh, when you leaving? Tuesday. How long are you going to stay? 7-10 days. I'll know when I get there.
Yeah.
And then, Tuesday I'm out, drive to the ranch, get there on the second day, stay for 7-10 days, come back. And then, like right now, as far as my life goes, I wing it.
Yeah.
Are you like that? I mean, I just feel like my brother will tell you where he's going in 2 years for vacation, what they're going to do when they get there, how they're going to get there, all that other bullshit. Not me. I fly by the seat of my pants.
Life's spontaneous, man, and I definitely recognize that, and I see that in you, and I'm the same exact way. I'm a big fan of road trips all the time. I just get up and going, dude, drive to Big Sur, go check out the waves for a second. But, that's what I think the beauty of life is, man. I don't want to make things too serious, and I actually just started dating an awesome girl, and she's been pretty cool about it. Usually I end up losing my girlfriends because I am too spontaneous. But I think I found a good one with this one. And, that's the reality, man. I think as long as I can keep that energy about me, I think that's when I'm going to stay happy. And that's what's going to keep what many people consider a job to them, for me, is just playtime. And that's the beauty of my life, man. And, I hope I can keep it about me.
But just before we wrap up, just speak to me about, just the sponsorships with how you're able to structure your training.
Yeah.
And not working 9 to 5.
Well, you know what?
I don't need numbers.
The sport has grown enough to be lucrative, and I'll give you reality, dude. Like one of the last championships, there was $100,000 on the line, split between 2 people, but $50K is still like a good paying paycheck for most people for their entire year. Now you got another half a dozen events that are about half the size of that, and sponsorships. You get called up by Under Armour, you get called up by Reebok, Nike, and these guys are willing to vet you. And I've worked really, really hard, but also at the same time, like, look, I'm very, very fortunate. I contended in your show, and I was able to afford that, and that's created also another buffer. And there's tons of shows out, like American Ninja Warrior, Spartan Ultimate Team Challenge. There's money out there for those go-getters, I think about it all the time. Fuck, I wish I was Tom Brady, man. Like, if I just had thrown a football from the day I started, you guys and I would all be laughing right now. Like, we're eating an In-N-Out burger. We should be at, Boa Steakhouse, but we live a sweet life, man. It's good.
I'm glad for that. Hey, let's talk about the Super Bowl for a second. Who are you cheering for?
Oh, man, I'm a fan of Tom Brady just because somebody who dedicates – I see him as somebody I look up to, not because of, his personal life, who he's dating, whatever the heck's going on. He's just channeled, man. To see somebody, like, he got MVP and all my friends are talking shit. He doesn't deserve it. He's a pretty boy. He already won his 5th ring. He set a record, man, 460-something yards of passing, and he did it from the 3rd all the way into overtime, like, so quickly. Like, you can't deny it, and that, to me, fascinates me. I don't necessarily believe in the Patriots because of the Patriots. I'm not somebody who wears their sweater around, but I believe in champions, so that's why I picked him.
I mean, I'm a big fan of his because, drafted like, I think 199th, whatever it was. And then,
dude, I look at pictures of him.
Yeah, he's playing behind Bledsoe. Bledsoe goes down with an injury. The kid comes in. Bam. Okay, so they start winning. Okay, Belichick happens to be the head coach. They're a great 1-2 combination. It's the Patriot system. It's the Belichick way. But Tom Brady, to go back to your point, he always put the work in.
Yeah.
And he continues to. He's 39 years old. He had a lights-out year. And it's like some people say, man, I like Brady's pretty boy.
Yeah.
I like the Patriots. They always win too much. God dang.
You can't deny
How
it,
can
man.
you hate a winner? People say, okay, Spygate, Deflategate, this gate, stealing signs, what? Hey, man, everybody's looking for an edge, and the Deflategate was bullshit anyway.
Whatever. Nobody wins because there's a couple pounds of pressure out of a football.
Dude, it was like someone said on TV the other day, they could have been playing with pillows and it was still warm.
Yeah.
But I appreciate how hard the summit works.
Well, they did that to me. Yeah, that to me, above all else, it could be any sport across the board. Doesn't matter who you are. a contender is somebody I respect. So, I saw that in him, and I want him to have his 5th ring. Now he should just drop out before he loses his brain, gets hit too many times.
Man, that's an interesting way to look at it, because I think the cat, he said he wants to play till his mid-40s, but a couple other guys sent him little messages on Twitter, hey, man, you got your 5th one, tap out.
Dude, that's
I don't think he's going to do it, though.
He found the sweet spot. You know what? You remember, I don't know if this is a good example, but if you think about Lance Armstrong, man, he had all those titles, and then he came back, he got greedy, and then he got in all this other legal trouble. But even if he didn't get in legal trouble, man, he just started to drop off.
Right.
He had enough. He had done it all. Then he'd get greedy. Now, I don't want to put that kind of bad mark on Tom, but at the same time, man, read the writing on the wall. You done it.
I just don't know how you can get any higher. It's so hard to win championships. I mean, they wouldn't have won the last one if Pete Carroll hadn't called that pass on the goal line. You hand it to Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, I know.
So it could have been, his 4th Super Bowl ring rather than his 5th.
Yeah.
Had they called a different play. But as hard as it is to get there, and hell, there was a period after they won that one. I think there was a 7 or 8, 9, 10-year period before they went back.
Yeah.
So it could be the right time to ride off in the sunset. We'll see. Last thing.
Yeah. You
got anything to plug, promote, talk about? We've been talking. Anything you need to plug?
No, man. You know what? I just say to anybody out there, if you are interested in this podcast, keep on listening to Steve. But if you're interested in what I've been talking about, just reach out to me any point in time. My name's Hunt the Sheriff on most social media channels, and you'll find me somewhere, man. I'm always willing to connect. If you ever want to work out in LA or just want to, pick my brain, I'm an open-ended book.
Hey, man, it's good talking to you.
Of course, Steve. Always a pleasure.
All right, everybody, give me the go-home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in the sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank Hunter McIntyre for coming over here to the crib at 317 Gimmick Street with all my blankets and jackets and pillows scattered everywhere for sound control and sharing some of his story with me. We'll see how Hunter does in the future with his obstacle course racing and his Spartan racing and whatever endeavors he chooses to pursue in his life. Good luck, Hunter. It was good talking to you. You represented the Broken Skull Challenge in a badass fashion. Hey, man, all my T-shirts, ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin. All those shirts I wore while filming the toughest goddamn show in the history of television, the Broken Skull Challenge on CMT. That's where you can find those shirts at, ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin or BrokenSkullRanch.com. And if you're thirsty and you want a badass IPA to drink, the best IPA in the USA, my Broken Skull IPA at El Segundo Brewing Company. You can find it at Whole Foods and Total Wines if you live in California. If you ain't in Cali, check InsideTheCellar.com and see if they ship to your state. And I appreciate y'all supporting the sponsors of the Steve Austin podcast. They're the ones that let me do this for you free twice a week, and that includes Amazon. And Amazon is the best place to get the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife for just $75. And if you order the Cold Steel Broken Skull knife through my Amazon links, Amazon will kick back a couple of bucks to the podcast. Never costs you anything extra, never any hidden fees or charges. You can buy whatever you plan on buying to help out the podcast in the process. And you can find my Amazon links by going to podcastone.com, clicking on the Killer Deals button in the top right corner of the page, and hitting the Steve Austin Show button. I got Amazon links for USA, UK, and Canada. So again, go to podcastone.com, click the Killer Deals button in the top right corner, then click on the Steve Austin Show. Hey, keep listening. The 60-second AP News headlines are coming up next. Until then, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
Download new episodes of Steve Austin Unleashed every Thursday at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
Stay tuned for the latest AP News headlines from Podcast One right after this.
AP Update. I'm Carlotta Bradley. President Donald Trump is making plans to send Congress his first budget.
Lawmakers now expect the president's blueprint in mid-March, but he's been scrambling, having just gotten the Senate to approve his budget chief, Mick Mulvaney. The other reason?
Unfortunately, the budget that we're essentially inheriting, is a mess. The finances of our country are a mess.
Which is also what he told the news conference last week. He inherited on all manner of issues, foreign and domestic. But Trump told Mulvaney and other aides they're going to clean the finances up. In doing so, he's promised huge tax cuts and spending increases for defense and infrastructure, while at the same time wiping out the deficit. Mark Smith at the White House.
Trump met with his senior staff Wednesday to talk about the budget, including Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and newly confirmed Budget Director Mick Mulvaney. AP Update, I'm Carlotta Bradley.